And this handsome devil is Dakota Kaziska.
Said my name, but I don't see no handsome devil.
Hey, bud, what's going on? Gonna check out some tech news, are ya? Got a couple things we want to discuss about today. One of the biggest thing is the new war for CPUs. Currently, AMD just released. Can you hear it now?
A little quiet, will we?
Before I get in here, the microphone should be up all the way. Now I'll switch over to the webcam microphone. Can you hear it now, Rob? We'll just bring the mic in.
We'll just eat it.
There, that might sound a little bit better. Let me see if I can't put a filter on this. And how about now? Now I'm probably blowing your ears out because I just turned the gain all the way to the max.
Jeez, it almost redlines.
Oh well, it's probably better now. But yeah, so right now there is a huge battle in the processors, and I, of course, forgot to pull up 10th gen Intel. So, AMD just got done releasing their, well, a few months ago, their 3950X Ryzen platform, 3rd generation consumer CPU. And it was what, like 3-4 months ago?
Probably, I'm not 100% positive.
Probably a little bit sooner.
You're asking the wrong questions here. I'm the Intel guy.
Yeah, not everybody's perfect.
Hey, I know my sins now.
But anyways, so they came out with the 3950X and the new Threadripper, which was what, the 39900, if I am correct. And that is their Threadripper processor.
So you brought up war on CPUs. I just remembered that there was a third-party company in China that was putting out CPUs for servers. I don't know the name of them. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, so yeah, and then AMD just dropped probably about a month ago for the low price of $4,000. You can have yourself the AMD Ryzen Threadripper.
But
64 cores, 128 threads.
Compare that to the i9X series. That price, it's freaking cheap.
Yeah. And compare it to their actual server chips, the EPYC chips, which that is actually just a little bit below. It doesn't have the as many PCIe lanes as the EPYC, but the EPYC chip's $10,000, where the Threadripper's $4,000. So, I mean, if you're gonna make just like a little server, and you don't really need all them PCI lanes, I mean, definitely Threadripper's the way to go. I wouldn't suggest just gaming off of it because you will hugely bottleneck yourself.
Oh yeah.
But of course, your favorite people came into play and said, you know what? We're getting tired of getting beat for sales. Let's come out with 10th gen Intel, which is basically 9th gen with a new name.
Yep. And what was it? 6th and 7th gen and 8th gen, and they're all the same. They just got different names. That's how it works. Give you a couple extra FPS, a little bit of a higher core speed. Actually, you know what? 6th gen was 4 cores. 7th gen was 4 cores. I think 8th gen they moved on. Is that when they started doing like 6 and 8 cores?
I do believe so. Yeah. Now, what I don't get is they came out with the 10th gen, of course, as an answer back to AMD, to try to kind of reclaim that throne, because AMD's starting to throw them off, especially the gaming platform, which is good for people like me because I love AMD. It's good to see them back up top and no longer just that cheap option that everybody goes for when they're broke bitches like me. So it's really nice to see that, and of course, Intel tried to fire back and they went with an i7. Why not come out with their i9? They don't offer the i9 at 10th gen yet.
I didn't even realize
Nope,
that.
just the i7. Even on their website, if you look, their main platform is the i7.
Huh, you're right.
Which, spec-wise, I think it's like a 0.1 hertz faster than
Woo.
the 9th gen.
Wow, look at them go.
And of course, integrated graphic, but no one in their right mind will use integrated graphics.
Well, tablets and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but even then, it's integrated RTX if you want a game. You know, we don't really care about workstation stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you might, but hey, I like to play my occasional game and work at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, legend has it though that the prices are comparable with 9th gen, which is still stupid expensive. They did, however, drop their prices. I was looking the i9 9900KF, so it doesn't have the integrated graphics, because again, who needs that bullshit?
Yeah.
Was down to about $450, which was, I mean, a fairly good price.
See, that hurts me because I bought my 9900K. It was $530, and then
Yeah.
they released Ryzen released. That right there is when you can tell Intel knew that they were screwed. 'Cause
Oh,
then
yeah.
They released the new Ryzen CPUs, and immediately Intel's like, all right, we're gonna start cutting prices.
Yeah, because my i7 8700K was the same price as an i9 9900KF.
Yeah.
And of course, the 9900K stomps it right into the
Oh
ground.
yeah.
I mean, my i7 was good, don't get me wrong, I loved it.
That's the thing. You really don't need to upgrade a CPU
But-
every generation. That's
No.
something I had to tell myself. I went from 6th gen to 9th gen, and I'll probably go 9th gen to 12th.
So, like, I completely skipped first gen Ryzen.
Yeah.
I was sleeping
I think
for,
most people did.
I was sleeping for that, I guess. But I went to second gen, of course I went to biggest Ryzen 7 2700X. I loved it, I love the chip. I have no complaints. Streaming wise, I could stream a game at the same time off it. I just had to overclock it just a little tiny bit, which was really easy to do. My thermals were down low. I never really had an issue with it.
I think the 2700X, that was what? Right around the time 7th gen Intel was out?
Yes.
So it was the Intel i7 7700K versus...
Come change your motherboard.
What's up?
Oh, Rob said come change my motherboard. Now, Rob, you're still rocking that MSI Trident 3, correct? Because we actually just had a discussion about those small form factors, and if I remember correctly, you got my old one from Rent-A-Center. Oh, okay, good. I was going to tell you, just throw it out the window. No, like, seriously? So, MSI bragged this up as, you know, the new console system. Put it under your arm and take it to your neighbor's house and blah, blah, blah. Which it is. It's a nice little form factor. I mean, granted, you could probably cook your lunch off it if you're gaming on it.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you really got into it, but it wasn't too bad. It was like 9th gen i5 with 8 gigs of RAM. Of course, RGB, gotta have RGB. Can't, you know, can't have gaming without RGB anymore.
That adds FPS. It's well known. So, according to user benchmarks, the 7700K was a whopping 7% faster. And the buy price, like right now, you get 2700X, so $170.
What was the core and thread count difference? I think Ryzen beat it. Should say it.
Oh yeah, the 7th gen only had 4 cores.
Yeah.
The new ones, the Ryzens, they had what?
8. I think it's 8 cores, 12 threads.
Yeah, and which the Ryzen actually had higher overall, faster octa-core speed.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's, like, again, I said, you know, they're trying to get into that whole gaming platform. That's where all the money's at. And, Rob, I would actually help you with your iBuyPower motherboard. Anytime you're poured out gaming, bring it over to the shop, brother. I'll change it for you. No big deal. But, yeah, I mean, Ryzen's definitely getting into it. And another thing AMD is trying, and I did not realize this, I was going to go and buy a 2060 KO, because remember we talked about the chipset being the same as the 2080 Ti?
Yep.
But a buddy of mine actually stopped me, and he said, you know, for being an AMD fan, you should go AMD. And I was like, well, I don't really, you know, I'm looking at like the 580s, the 5600 XTs, and I didn't really look into them too much. But the 5700 XT is like double a 2060.
Yep.
Which is crazy. And RTX...
It's a good price, too.
RTX is nice. but no one who uses ray tracing. There's nothing out there available for right now.
Yep.
Even coming up in the next year, we still don't see anything about it.
Nope.
I mean, there's a couple games that it does help out, but I mean, they kind of put it out before it was necessary to try to get a step in the game. Intel's actually coming out with their own graphics card now.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
They released the prototype. Well, not really released, but they had the prototype at the convention there in Canada. I can't think of it.
Yeah, PAX.
No, not PAX. Shoot, Linus said the whole
Oh,
cover.
LTX.
Yeah, LTX.
Okay.
So they brought that in, and I actually was just on PC Gamer News earlier, just trying to figure out some more information on some stuff.
Oh yeah, Rockstar changed their. I want to check that out too.
Yeah, and it pulled out Intel's new graphics card. I mean, it actually looks pretty cool. They tried one years ago.
Is it the one with the RGB and stuff on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. That actually looks really good.
See, what I'm afraid of though, the last time they released, here it is.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of that one. I like the one in the middle there.
The Shadow Play is what it's called.
That reminds me of the old like ATI cards.
Yeah, it's the Intel Xe graphics card. Now, these are just the bare minimum. This is the one that came out before that was in huge prototype, and then they realized it was a huge wash, and they just said...
I don't even think those are pictures that they're using. Those are processors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that graphics card they had was the all
Yeah.
blue like that. So what they basically did is, years ago, they tried to release them. They money hungry, wanted more money, and they got into it and just got embarrassed to the point where they said, you know what? That wasn't us. It's a whole other department. They did it. Not us. Don't look at us.
Yep.
Which is weird because, I mean, out of integrated graphics, Intel's isn't entirely bad. Granted,
No.
I wouldn't, go throw up Shadow of the Tomb Raider on it.
Oh yeah,
But, I mean, just for your general, maybe play the occasional Fortnite and, watch some YouTube videos on it, perfect. Ryzen has it as well, but it's actually a lot more expensive to get integrated graphics in a Ryzen chip. And that is, and what a lot of people don't realize is that's the reason why AMD chips are so cheap, because they don't have the integrated graphics on it.
Didn't Intel release a CPU that had a integrated AMD graphics processor in it?
Yep. Yeah. So the older ones, as they're coming to the newer, they started switching over, and now they're saying, you know what? We're just going to make our own. We're going to make our own card. Which, I mean, if they can get it, good for them. But it kind of sounds like to me is they're just money hungry, and they're getting into a market that's already saturated.
That's
so they're
that's Intel's entire.
They're really not gonna. I don't really see it being beneficial for them. They'll probably release this one card for a little bit, just kind of test the water. It'll get hugely bashed on the internet, and they'll be like, nope, never again. And that's what comes out with anything brand new. Not just saying that on Intel. I mean, I can't hate on them 100%. I love my Pentium 4.
Oh, I see that card. I see how it lights up now.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of that. That's not the card I saw. It honestly reminds me of the old school ATI cards. Like the way they got the little ripples in it there. It's still better looking than that AMD card that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
At least it doesn't look broken.
Consoles. Well, we're actually getting into that, Rob. And of course, the newest thing's out, the Xbox X.
Yep.
Which is basically a computer with a controller.
Yep. I love the fact that NZXT's already knocked the case off, so us PC guys be like, yeah, well, I want an Xbox One. What is it? What's it called? Xbox?
It's the Xbox X.
Xbox X. So we can get that Xbox X look.
The world's most powerful console.
We'll see. PlayStation.
Oh no, that's the One X. Where is the new X?
I thought it was called Scorpio or something, wasn't it?
No, I do believe it was called the X.
Oh, I think it was Xbox X, not Xbox One X.
Yeah, that's what I typed in.
I actually remember Linus talked about that in his Win show. The naming confusion. Yeah, this is the problem. This is what he said.
Yeah.
Because when people were going to look it up,
well,
they were going to have a
it's the same thing they did with the OG Xbox was the Xbox One. And everybody's like, so nowadays, like, us older people, when we talk to these younger kids, say, yeah, I had an Xbox One, they think, bam, Xbox One S. But that's not the case. I mean, this is before the 360 days.
Yep.
And So their names are definitely a little confusing. I mean, of course, it's kind of adds a little bit more excitement than your PlayStation's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's simple, and I like simple. But Series X, that's the name.
Yeah, here we go. I
It's
found
the
it.
Series X, the next generation of gaming,
That's
which it
honestly-
boasts. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. It's an AMD processor,
Yep, I heard that.
and it's a 2060 Super for graphics.
Really?
Yeah. Which, it's not exactly a 2060 Super.
Yeah,
It's just a
it's
little bit above.
Well, the thing is, though, especially with consoles,
Which
the
is
fact is that that's such a high-end card for a console. Like, those games are built for that. So it's like,
well, not only that.
they're going to be able to get higher frame rates than us PC people because, you know, my even 1080 Ti, that's, you know, they're getting pretty close
Right.
there. You know, it's not going to do that much better or better at all, considering games are literally built to run on that graphics and
But
CPU.
it only supports 120 FPS. This 980 gets 120 FPS,
Yep.
easy.
Yep.
So that's some Sneak energy drink. This stuff is amazing. It's sugar-free, no carbonation, and it'll make you feel like you just ate a whole bottle of Adderall at once. Like, dude, when we first got this stuff, so we got like the little trial packets, and me and my wife were trying them out. And I said, mix one up, split the bottle in half. So we had like a total of like 2.5 drinks of it. Which me, I drink Monster like it's going out of style, so it doesn't affect me. Dude, I couldn't get her to shut up. She was bouncing off the walls. So I was like, what is going on? And it was this stuff. And it's funny too, because she actually likes it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like a lot of these. She didn't like the G Fuel, which I don't blame her. A lot of it came powdery.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It left you feeling like you were more thirsty, where the Sneak doesn't. So I really, really do like that. So I order it, every chance I get. Trying to stock up on it. They don't do the BOGO sales, obviously, like G Fuel, but I mean, I think really, as it goes, they could beat G Fuel hands down.
Oh yeah. That's all it takes. Some of these little companies, I mean, some of my favorite sodas, they don't advertise real well,
Right.
but the sodas are cheaper too. A lot of these companies spend a lot of money on advertising and stuff like that. It takes away from the quality of the actual product itself.
Yep.
So-
And of course, G Fuel, it's all your famous streamers.
Yep.
They're all tied in. They all got their own flavors, and that's basically why they got so popular. Because you take all these Tfue and Pokimane and all them, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they drink it. Let's drink it too.
Well, yeah.
It tastes like ass, but I like it because they like it."
Well, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's basically what happens to it when it
They
comes
see
in.
people see their favorite YouTuber drinking something, and they're gonna be like,
Yep, gotta have it.
"Gotta
I
buy
mean,
these
granted,
them."
if Josh Dub came out on there and said drink G Fuel or die, I would buy every last bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I love Josh Dub, but I mean that's where it comes into marketing. But back to the new Xbox, if you look, it only supports 120 FPS.
Well, so this is
Because
my
the
thing.
main thing about it though, you're bottlenecked by the TV.
Yep. And this is my thing too, is most TVs, like I just bought a brand spanking new Samsung TV. Brand spanking new.
Yep.
It's locked at 60. And it wasn't a cheap TV, I got
Right.
one of those nice smart TVs, the QLED and all that crap. And it's locked at 60.
Yeah.
So, my monitor, which caps at 144 and non-overclocked,
Right.
those are built for computers. So is this gonna, I almost wonder if people are gonna start buying monitors
I mean,
to
I can
run-
see that
rather than
because
these Xboxes.
with monitors anymore, they're not quite the price tag they used to be.
No, yeah. No.
Because you figure, I got a 32-inch that's 240 refresh rate, 8K possible, 4K standard, and it was $250.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I mean? And that's a fairly good deal.
2 years ago, my monitor cost $600. So
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And
So
I'm-
they're coming down in price, and I think you're probably going to see a lot of people hooking monitors to their Xbox. So they almost have to get the
I'm
frame rate.
curious to see though. But at that point though, if you're gonna take the time to buy the monitor and waste money on stuff like that,
Because they
Is it
want to be
worth-
able to say, I'm a console player.
yeah, but is it really that big of a thing though? Like, I'm a PC gamer, usually has more oomph behind it than I'm a console gamer because we're the minority, we're the small group. There's not as many people out there on PC as there is on consoles.
Right.
So I almost wonder if at that price point, people, they realize they're paying for power that they're not going to be able to utilize because of the TV.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of it is that. And like I said, it's basically a PC. You know, it's got an SSD in it. It's got RAM. It's made by Microsoft, which Microsoft computers, Windows, all that fun stuff.
That's one thing I really like is the connectability between an Xbox.
Right, right. Because you've seen it. We've taken them apart before, and I got Windows 10 loaded up on an Xbox hard drive.
Yep.
On a i7 and putting it back into an Xbox, just to try to do the whole reverse of it on there. So it's one of those things.
Sacrilegious.
Yeah, and that's where that whole MSI Trident came into place is because they tried to go into that market. Little Susie wants our computer in her living room connected to her TV,
Yep.
but at the $1,400 price tag behind it for 8 gigs of RAM and a 1650 and an i5, it's just the value isn't there. Just because it's form factor and it's proprietary is the only reason behind it. But as you can see, you can build something and at a fraction of the price.
They say what the release price of it is going to be?
With the Xbox?
Yeah.
I do believe they're talking like $500 to $600.
Oh, at that point, you might as well buy a computer.
And what I was reading is, because PlayStation said it too, is they're going to make their money back on games, obviously.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
another thing your normal run-of-the-mill console player doesn't understand, is it's $60 to $100 for a brand new release. PC, $40. You know what I mean? So the games are cheaper on PC too. Plus, by the time this Xbox gets here, with the way technology's moving, it's already outdated.
This is my thing when it comes to consoles, because I've had this conversation. It depends on the person. First off, don't come at me saying a console is a better price to gaming thing, because it's not, and it'll never be.
No.
I can take my computer and go and put Nintendo emulators on it.
Yep.
I can go all the way back to the freaking Atari and put Atari emulators on it, all the way up to about Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 range. Before you know it, we'll be able to emulate PS4 and Xbox One too. So you can't tell me that that's a better price range. Is it the fact that my computer, it's a $3,000 computer, or at least it was when I built it. It's a huge chunk of money at once versus small chunks of money throughout.
Every 3 years, it seems like. It's
Exactly.
like 3-4 years there's a new console out.
And it's very rare, it does happen, but it's very rarely that your computer ends up becoming so updated that it can't play an old game.
Right.
Like, I have a game on Steam I can't play just because it supports Windows something. Windows.
Right.
I think it had to do with Windows 7, and it glitches out every time I try to play it.
Right.
But the thing is it glitches out. It doesn't just not work. You can't stick an old Xbox 360 game in a,
Yeah, and that's the thing, I hated they did with the release of, the Xbox One, is there was only certain Xbox 360 games that were compatible. And I had a 360.
In their defense, though, at least they had backwards compatibility.
Yeah, they started to later, though.
PlayStation had nothing.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They started to later, and they keep adding games.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I'm not going to wait around 7 years to play Black Ops 2,
Yeah.
or Bad Company 1 on my Xbox One. It's just not there. So again, when I went to an Xbox One, I had to buy a whole new game library.
Yep.
Because only 2 of the games I had was backwards compatible, and I never played them anyways.
That's the thing, go on PC and freaking go to Steam and hey, every game that's on your 360 you can
Or even
get here.
like
and, they're $5 or $3.
Or you can get Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all there too. So there isn't a game out there available on a system that you can't pick up on your PC.
At least not hacked, because there's. I heard that Horizon Zero Dawn's coming to PC.
Yep, I did hear that as well.
I'm a bit excited about that. I've never really played that game, but I watched ads for it, and I was like, my wife wants a PS4 really bad. And we're probably going to end up. I keep telling her, just wait. Get the PS5 when it comes out.
Right.
We might as well just get top line. It's going to come out next year.
Well, not only that, what they're saying the release price of the PlayStation 5 and that is, it's really what you can get a PlayStation 4 right now. $500-$600. Because again, they're gonna make their money back on games.
Yep.
It's just all there is to it. Let's say we can't really charge for the console what we want to. Because if they charge what they wanted, it'd be at least $1,000 all day long. But again, the console is supposed to appeal to that middle range gamer that
Yep.
doesn't have a big budget, or like a kid or something like that. And I mean, honestly, if my kids came up to me and said, "Dad, I want $1,000 for a new Xbox," I'd send them out in the yard. But in the same sense, if they asked me for a computer, I wouldn't really see a problem behind it, because I know, hey,
Yep.
yeah, it's a big chunk now, but it's going to last, 10 years.
Yep.
Where a console's not. I mean, granted, I still play my regular Nintendo and all that. I love them to death. But throw 8-bit up on a 53-inch TV once,
Well,
it'll make you sick.
And here's the thing too. A lot of people don't realize this, because I actually had a buddy of mine who was complaining. He's like, it's stupid. Nothing seems to last anymore. Old music lasts longer than this more modern crap. Yeah, I think people are still listening to like. I don't know.
Man, I listen to the Bee Gees.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Skrillex.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to Skrillex anymore. So it's like that was something that happened for a couple months and then disappeared.
Right.
And the same thing, he said that the same thing was happening with gaming. And I'm like, well, here's the thing though. It's actually different with gaming. A lot of these old games last because, one, they weren't multiplayer. It was a single player game. You sit down and go play a single player game. Now, for instance, they're re-releasing GTA 4. It went down on Steam. I owned it on Steam. This actually pisses me off because I'd go and play it online every once in a while. But they're shutting the servers down for GTA 4.
I did hear about that.
So it's like, when GTA 4 is a game that once you beat it once,
right.
there's not a lot of replay
So
that.
that actually kills me, because my wife actually just brought up a good subject. So I love the Metal Gear Solid game franchise.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. I've played it since regular Nintendo. Every time one came out, I had to have it. And the only reason I owned the PlayStation was to play that game, because for the longest time, that's all you could get it on. So the one came out, and I don't even remember which one it was, but it was on PlayStation 3. And I wanted to play it so bad. So my little brother wanted a PlayStation. So I said, you know what? So me and my wife, we went to GameStop. I bought a PlayStation. I bought that game. That's it. I stayed up all night. I beat the game. And of course that was it. So I sold the game and the PlayStation to my little brother for exactly what I had into it. And I got to play the game. And to this day, my wife never lets me hear the end of it. But it's the only thing I wanted to do with it. But now, I can get that game on my PC and I wouldn't have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like $10.
It's funny you say buying a console for. I got into PC gaming because of one game, BeamNG Drive. It's a soft body physics driving simulator.
Nice.
And it's something that a console would never be able to do.
Right.
I mean, even my computer, I can load up like a couple campers and maybe like a cannon, and I can shoot the campers. By the time the cannonball gets to the last one, I'm running at like 30 FPS on an i9 and a 1080 Ti.
Right.
So, and it's not because it's like not optimized well. I mean, I'm sure it can be optimized better than everything else can.
Right.
But I actually I paid $500 for my very first computer just so I could play that one game. And I was curious because that's something that I never really believed in, people buying a system just to play one game.
Right. Well, I mean, back in the day, we used to be able to just go down to Blockbuster and rent.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how many games I still have that are for regular Nintendo and Super Nintendo that have Blockbuster stickers on them. Or Take-Two Video when that was in town.
Yep.
And that was the thing. You go down on the weekend with your family to go get groceries or whatever, and you'd stop in, and it was like $1.
Yep.
And you'd rent a video game. Because all of them, we didn't have the online craze then, so it was... And I loved all the games back then because they would basically make you stay up all night long. I've stayed up for days. Literally days playing games, and I'm just that into it. And none of these new games will grasp me like that.
I have a question for you, because you said you bought a console and sold it the next day. Are you all for a renting process of games? Like, that's something I can never, that's something that really drives me crazy.
I never really got into that because with anything, if you rent, you'll end up paying more in the long run.
And you'll never own anything.
Yeah, than what it's actually worth.
I hate the fact now that it's like, it was past my generation, just barely past my generation, but you can't even get games on CDs anymore with the computer.
No.
I mean, look at it, your computer doesn't even have a DVD drive. Mine doesn't have a DVD.
I had a customer today ask me if that pink PC had a CD-ROM in it, and I was like,
It's not even built to support one.
It's like, no. You know what I mean?
Matter of fact,
Like, the only one that does is that.
And that's an old case.
Yeah.
Same
And
with that one down there. That one's an old case. And that one over there is an old case. And they all support drive days.
yeah.
These modern cases don't because nobody uses
Yeah.
it
It's like-
anymore.
Another thing too, remember back in the day with your hard drives, you had that little pin for slave and primary.
Yep.
They got rid of that finally. It just
that wouldn't go over real well.
I don't know how many times I put a computer together, and I'm like, why won't this piece of crap work? And it's because I had them both as primary, and they both had operating systems on it. It just started conflicting the crap out of it.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm definitely glad that they got rid of that. That was definitely a plus.
Yeah.
As far as technology went.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about the DVD drives. Because I had to buy an adapter. I have a blue external. Well, it's not even external. It's, one of those drive things slide into the computer. But, my radiator is in the way, so I can't slide it in.
Right.
So I had to buy a freaking adapter so I can play my Blu-ray movies on my computer. Because
I have a Blu-ray player for PC. That's the main reason I built that.
Yeah.
Was because it had that on it. And, of course, I never got the SATA cable for it. So I finally did get one. It had an extra one on the white 750.
So the very first thing I've ever purchased off of Amazon was a HDMI to micro HDMI. Okay, you're talking about never getting your cable. So I bought it, and it was like $4 for an HDMI cable,
Right.
And what it was is I had a GT 710 or 730. Okay, that was my first computer, $500. To be honest, I overpaid for that PC, but I didn't know. The guy selling him, we didn't know. He was a really nice guy.
He was a really nice guy. He gave me candies and a hubby. Told me to get in his van.
To be honest, he owns a van.
That's great.
But no,
I'm gonna own a van, so I can't laugh.
I want a van. But rabbit trailing here. Either way, a guy I worked with at the old restaurant here in town, he had a Dell XPS desktop, and he bought a GTX 960 and gave it to me, a GTX 750 Ti that was made by Dell. Ugly ass card. It had a red PCB, little tiny, like almost Intel stock cooler on it.
Yeah.
Either way though, that was such a big step up from a GT 710. So I get the card, and I have it stacked, like one of those anti-static bags. I get on Amazon, I order the cable, never shows up. 3 months pass. I buy a GTX 1060. It's $300. This is, 10 series. It's fresh,
Right.
Got the GTX 1060. As it came in the mail, it came in the exact same box as my micro HDMI from my 750 Ti that I literally never used because I didn't have the cable.
Hell yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Like, why did they wait to ship it? Like, I wonder if somebody looked at something there and they're just like, oh, this guy ordered something. Oh, he also ordered that cable that's been sitting on the shelf for
6 months
now.
Let's give it to them both. So, speaking of first computers ever, this is my first PC.
Damn.
A Tandy 1000. Okay.
My first PC cost more than yours.
So.
This is where I can find it.
So, it came from Radio Shack.
Oh, God.
In Buffalo, right? And I remember tearing it apart and installing a CD drive and taking out the 5.5 floppy.
Yep.
And I think we put like 28 megabytes of RAM in it.
Woo.
To put Windows 95 on it. We were running MS-DOS and Doom 2. So, I mean, and that was a huge upgrade at the time. That was that was like going out and buying a 2080 Ti.
Oh, yeah.
That was just crazy. And, of course, it was all onboard graphics. And it was like, oh, my God, this is so fast. I just uploaded an internet page from AOL because I got a bazillion free discs in like 5 minutes.
So,
And nowadays, if I got on one of them, I would probably smash it. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah. I'm trying to find...
probably sit a stick of just regular DDR RAM next to an older system. Just right next to it, it'd probably melt.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I'd be like, no, what is this?
I do know the price was $3,200 for my first PC. My parents didn't buy it. My aunt bought it. And they ended up not being able to get internet where they lived. So they sold the computer to my parents.
Did they not have a telephone?
They lived out in the woods.
Or did they not have a
I
telephone?
don't know. All I know is they had a problem getting internet.
That's understandable.
Okay, this is what it looks like. So that bad boy had like 200 and some megabytes of RAM, There's a Pentium 2 or a Pentium 3, 40 gig hard drive, dude. 40 full gigs.
Ooh, that's actually a huge thing back then.
Yeah, dude, they put like this. We had so many icons.
And I think they were either 4,800 or 5,200 RPM magnetic drives.
Smallest.
If I remember correctly, it's been so long. Like, I actually at my mom's house have a shoebox full of like the bands.
Yep.
You know. So, and like CD drives that are just like 52 times speed. You know, CD-R. And you could do RW, but you could do Rs. And remember that? You know, you get like a stack of like 100 discs and get on Napster and just pirate the crap out of music. And then like they get a scratch. Like, oh no, I gotta burn another CD. So I mean, as far as that, that's gone ways too. But I'll tell you what, I've never burned a CD on an Xbox before. We could with my Xbox.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because it's a PC base.
No, I remember though. I remember because I didn't know much about computers back then. I didn't even know the specs of my computer. All I knew was I had lots of games on it, little icons from corner of the screen. And I remember at one point we were given another computer, and my dad tore them both apart. And I remember like as a kid sitting there watching him add the RAM up and then slapping another hard drive. It ended up having 60 gigs in total. He had a 20 gig drive. But either way, I know, like 60 whole gigs, dude.
Jeez.
We had a CRT, we had a little black keyboard, mouse. I used to use the mouse funny because I'm left-handed. So the mouse would sit in front of my keyboard, sideways. I mean, I was a little kid, you know. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, this is the other subject I wanted to get on with you. Just because we were talking about the Valve Index and how badly we want half of it.
I don't like that title.
But yeah, so, and it's actually surprising is right now, number one, AMD stock is down.
Yep, everybody's stock's down. Dude.
So if you want a good money maker, I think it would actually be a good investment to invest money in AMD right now. Because not only are they, you know, and they got another chip they're getting ready to release. They're already rumors of 4th gen Ryzen.
Yep.
So you can only imagine what that's going to be like with, you know, how they're going to top what they have now.
I'm really pumping CPUs out, man.
But
Jeez.
right now, everything's slowed down
Yep.
because of the damn coronavirus. So they can't ship nothing out. Their sales are down, and the price of their chips are up because it's getting harder and harder. So right now is actually a really funny time as far as that goes. So I'm interested to see, too, how that's going to affect the release of the new PlayStation and Xbox. Because all of it comes out of China.
Yep.
You know, and of course you can't drink Corona beer there, apparently.
I don't want to jump around here.
But yeah, dude, the Valve Index, that is the thing of the future right
that
there.
bums me out because the titles I heard was, oh, it might be coming out before the release of Half-Life Alyx. And it's like,
Yep.
hell yeah, I want to see this happen. Let's do it.
Yep.
Now,
the damn coronavirus is
freaking
foiling your plans.
got a cosplay outfit ordered from China. The guy messaged us and said, hey, it's going to be a little late by like 3 to 4 months. You want to cancel your order? And I was like, well, we're not going to cancel it. We already spent the money on it, you know.
Right.
But either way, he's like, his entire city's shut down.
Hell yeah.
So it's like, jeez.
Yeah, dude.
Don't want to send us email if you want to get a virus on the computer. Timex.
Just don't pop any of the bubble
That's
wrap.
what headset I looked into too.
The Pimax.
8K that it used to be.
This one's the 5K plus.
Oh, I think it's because Linus threw a fit about it when he tried it on. He's like, this is not 8K. This is 2 4K screens.
Right. So yeah. So this I do believe that this is the future of gaming. 100%. You're gonna see people with like cables coming down from the roof so you don't go running out your hall and on like a treadmill, and it's gonna be all VR, full body tracking, and that movie, Ready Player One.
I love that movie.
So I really feel like that is the next step. Right now it's expensive. Not too many people got to experience it, and the people that have, it's always the same thing. Oh, I played VR on my PlayStation. I love Beat Saber, and that's all you hear because that's all they have to offer for.
That's the. To be honest, VR really isn't that expensive for something as revolutionary as VR.
Right.
You know, like, yeah, you're gonna need like $700-800 computer at the minimum, and then you're gonna need like a $300. I mean, what's the cheapest VR headset you can buy?
I think the Oculus Rift is $349 right now at Best Buy.
I think Windows makes a cheaper one. I think the Windows has a. I mean, it doesn't look as good, but like no matter what, you're still spending almost $1,000 at least to get into it. But at the same time, it's something so revolutionary in technology.
I mean, the Valve Index itself is $1,000.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's the Valve Index.
but I mean, you're paying that extra to flip someone off,
Well, this is,
and I love it.
and this is my thing, is it isn't necessary, you know, we can play on cheaper headsets, stuff like that.
Right.
My thing is I only want the Index headset, because like now I'm used, like switching from the, because I have the Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
I had the latest version up till the time I went through my HTC Vive. Oh my god, I hated it. I didn't want to play my Vive. The controllers are so different, so hard to get used to. And then this comes out, it's like, oh, more different controllers.
Look,
$300 for controllers.
Look, they have Alex
Yep, with it.
right on it.
I have it set so it emails me. I had the money set aside to get the headset. I got $500 just chilling, waiting.
I love how it says that you need a 970 or above to play VR.
You really
and then,
don't.
like, every video card you see nowadays says VR ready.
My buddy played on a 960.
Dude.
So, dual core.
A dual core CPU.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of games don't use multi-core. That's the
Right.
thing. That's why I always said. That's why I'm an Intel fanboy. Is I'd rather have 4 fast cores
Right.
than 8 kind of fast cores.
Right. Well, gaming itself depends on a faster single core speed
Yeah.
than multi-core.
Where multitasking, that's where
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
30,000.
Now, for someone like me
cores.
that is going to have stream and game and chat and music and just all this other stuff going on, I can't even touch it on a lower core. That i7 I had, that 8700, it would do it, but the quality wasn't there. I couldn't keep frame rates. It would glitch in and out. Sometimes it just shut itself off.
Yep.
I mean, so I had a couple issues there. I couldn't touch it with 16 gigs of RAM. I had to upgrade to 32 gigs of RAM. VR, I felt like it was just going to burn my house down.
So I've never had a computer. Mind you, my computer has 11 fans in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And my old computer had what? So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I had at least 7. No. Yeah, I had at least 7 in my computer case before that. So it's like, I guess I've never had that problem because I have this weird fetish for ungodly amounts of fans.
See, I put fans in there a lot too, just for the airflow.
The big difference is though, just like you have a couple fans in here, and
Right.
it's quiet. You turn my computer on, and it sounds like that.
Yeah, yeah. Which a lot of people complain about sound,
Honestly, it doesn't bother
but it
doesn't bother me at all.
You know, if I got my headset on,
Yeah.
I don't hear them fans at all.
Yeah.
Now my microphone will pick them up. That's
Yeah.
why, if you notice, my mic used to be on the right side of my desk where my
Yeah.
PC was. I moved it to the left because it would pick it up.
See, my microphone, it's got like a lot of controls on it, so I actually have mine that tunes out. I mean, it's just right next to my computer.
Right. Well, I
It
can do
tunes it out.
I can do a filter on
I want something more so bad.
with the R. And that wasn't that bad. I picked that up on Amazon for about $50
My problem is
with
microphone
the
involved.
Phantom power supply.
That ain't bad at all.
No.
My problem is, one, my microphone is USB powered, so I don't need a power supply.
Right.
But my problem is because mine's a blue microphone, you have to only buy the blue holders because it doesn't fit in anything
Yeah.
else and it vibrates and
Old Yeti.
they got all the stupid little like knobs that are on it right here, so it's like it won't fit in anything but their crap.
Yep.
I regret that decision.
Well, it's like Dell. Dell was all proprietary. You remember how many problems I had trying to get different fans, and I had to get all these adapters, and you just have wires upon wires upon wires to do what you could just.
It's cool that you found the adapters though. I didn't even know that crap existed.
Oh, they make adapters for everything, man. I mean,
know,
I have.
I didn't think that they'd be legally allowed to make an adapter to an OEM Dell thing.
So I love how you bypass that sensor.
Yeah.
You just cut it, stuff the wire underneath the board.
Yep.
Because it has to register it plugged in, but it doesn't have to work. Because it's like a chopper.
That's the way the fans work too. I had a computer once. So normally you can go in the BIOS and you can disable the CPU fan.
Right.
But I had an AIO pump on it, so it wasn't hooked into the CPU spot. Well, either way, I went to the BIOS and every time we go to that black post screen, CPU fan be there.
Yep.
Well, I ended up just taking a little 2-pin thing, popping it on there,
and it says, "Oh, there's a fan here now. We will use it."
Yep, it gives you an error. It says that it can't read the RPMs, but
Right. Still let you into it. I had
Yeah.
that problem with that B450.
some motherboards are so freaking
Piece of
funky.
shit. Asus ROG Strix. Throw it in the garbage and run it over with the car. I mean, who would do such a thing?
I've been there. I felt that.
But yeah, so I mean, you can't really say that all PC technology is great because there is things
No.
like that.
Yeah, but like at the same time,
But they're few and far
it's
between.
such a huge market.
Yeah, because
So
everybody and
it's-
their brother makes a motherboard. Everybody and their brother makes RAM.
You know, you're gonna go to China. You know what? I'll put it like this, because this is a big thing. Console people like to use against computers. Oh yeah, well there's a lot of crappy computer hardware out there. You know. Yeah. Go to China. Go on Wish. Get on Wish. Buy 13 different Xbox Ones and tell me which ones don't have Android installed on them. You know.
Yeah, dude, China puts out some sketchy shit.
That's the thing. Their motherboards and everything. I'm happy eBay now notifies you. It's like, oh hey, this is from China. Just letting you know.
Yep.
This is from China.
Heads up, this is a Chinese motherboard. You might have parts from a Pentium 4 from 1996.
It looks like a cool 8th gen Asus motherboard, but you're really getting an 8th gen CPU socket on a 1st gen.
Yeah. So it says that it's Commodore compatible because it came out of a Commodore. Just so you know.
That was like.
But it's got RGB.
Walmart. I love looking at the pre-builds at Walmart.
Oh my god,
Dude, there's a freaking. They had an 8th gen i7 with a parallel port on the motherboard.
Yeah.
Parallel port for like the old ass printers. Like, who made a motherboard with a parallel port for an 8th gen i7 CPU? Like,
So
who's rocking 8th gen in a printer that needs a parallel port?
So, the one up in Bradford, it's $600, $700, somewhere around there. Dude, it's got 8 gigs of RAM. No, it wasn't even 8, it was 4 gigs.
Yeah.
With a 1050 Ti
Yep.
and an i5. And it just, like, there was so much space left in this huge ass case, and it was RGB.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
2 fans, and it's like,
And they're like awkwardly placed fans, like one
Yeah.
down here, one
Yeah.
time up here.
and it's like, oh my god, we gotta get it. It's a gaming computer. It's got RGB. Oh my god, it's gotta be good. It's $700. And then people like me who are like, oh, not, $700. I'll get you, a Ryzen 5 with 2 terabytes and 16 gig. Well, I don't know, man. That's
And that's the thing. I
that's
guess-
up there. And then of course you get, does it play Fortnite?
Oh yeah.
Does it play Fortnite? What's the
that's-
frame rate for Fortnite?
That's the thing that really bothered me is because one,
Well,
I don't have Epic Game Store. I think you asked me actually. Yeah, you did.
well, that's because my nephew and them. That's all
yeah,
they
you
play.
were literally buying it just for Fortnite.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that really bothered me was every goddamn person who wanted to buy a computer from me. That was like the list of questions is, does it game? Well, yeah, it games. It's labeled a gaming PC. It's got a graphics card. Okay, what games does it play? I'm like, well, I don't know every game it plays, but it plays a lot of like AAA titles. What's
Right.
that mean? It plays modern games. Oh, will it play Fortnite?
Yeah.
No, you know what? It'll play Call of Duty. It'll play Wolfenstein, but it won't play Fortnite. It's just,
Yeah.
it's incapable.
Yeah, there was so many people, and I still get them to this day. I'll get emails from customers, from like, and half the time it's in Spanish, and I have to freaking translate it over. And then when I see, but I've learned words now,
Yeah.
and it's always the same questions. You'll put the price in the ad, and the
Oh.
last ad, you say how much.
Yep.
It's like, do you guys not know how to read? And then first words out of their mouth, because I started putting in the ad, and I still get questions asked. Well, what run Fortnite? It's like, dude, I can run Fortnite on a cell phone,
I got a
an
question.
iPhone 5.
I actually have a
for God's
question for you. This is something I'm to the point now. Matter of fact, when you came to pick up the computer, I pointed it out. I showed you where to plug the HDMI cable into the computer. Have you ever sold a computer and had somebody message you and be like,
Yeah.
I plugged it in and it won't turn? Okay.
Yeah.
Every single computer I've ever sold, which I've sold about 10 or 11, other than people who are computer, I don't count the ones I sold to computer people. People like Pedal Whip, I don't
Right.
count that as big sales. Have messaged me saying computer won't turn on. It
Yeah.
lights up, but it won't turn on. Every single, I'm not lying. I can literally go through and show you each one of their
Oh, I know.
messages. And I'm like, okay, you just spent $1,200 on a computer. Doesn't it, like, in my head, like, I would not buy something for $1,200 unless I knew how to use it.
Right.
So it's like, look at the back of the computer. Does it have two HDMIs on it? Yep. Maybe you should try plugging in the other one.
Yeah, a lot of people, and that's where Walmart capitalizes on this stuff,
yeah.
is because they're taking advantage of
dumb people.
Yeah, and basically it's like,
I hate to put it that way, but it's true.
And going back to tech news, of course they have made Windows 7 obsolete.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get everybody to upgrade. So I came across an ad on the internet the other day, and this guy locally, some New York State somewhere, has a big ad up saying, with that error on it from Windows 7, saying no longer available for update. And it says, right now running a special to update your PC to Windows 10.
Oh God, how much is he charging for
$200.
Woo! You can't tell
Hurry up, do it now, because this price is only available for a limited time. And of course, the 80-year-old woman down the street that uses it to get on, Facebook to talk to their grandkids across the country, is going to be like, oh my God, I have to do that.
Oh.
But it's a free upgrade.
And the worst part is like, even still, if you were to go buy it, he's still making an $80-some profit for installing. And that's if he's actually purchasing the $100-some key, or going on eBay, getting a $500 key, or a $5 key, and walking away with like $195 of profit for installing and operating.
But not only that, because they did it with Windows 8 too, is you literally go to Windows Update, and it'll say upgrade to Windows 10. Click that button, it takes, of course on a regular hard drive thing, it probably takes like an hour.
Especially an old Windows 7,
But it doesn't take, a couple hours.
It's not work either.
And anybody and their brother could do it. Like, it's so simple. And I'm looking at that, and it's like, people like that take advantage.
Yep.
And then I think back to Walmart and their piece of crap game.
This is what I was trying to talk to you. I had a guy at my job, and this is one thing I'll always recommend, a build over a pre-build. And he wanted a PC. I gave him all my specs to build a PC. He wants to play Call of Duty and that free one there, knockoff Fortnite, Apex Legends.
Oh, okay.
I say knockoff Fortnite. It's the game mode that they all use.
Right. Well, there's a bunch of them now.
Yeah. Technically, they're all knockoff PUBG. PUBG was the OG.
Right.
But either way, I priced it out, and he's like, I think I'm going to get a pre-built. And then he sends me a pre-built that costs more than what I offered to build one for him, with less specs. And he's like, I think I'm going to go with this. And I'm like, dude, that's got a crappy power supply in it.
Yep.
Those cases have poor airflow. Those fans are going to be loud. And he's like, yeah, but I'll have a warranty. I'm like, well, I offer warranties.
Right. Anything you buy.
Yeah, if I'm getting all new parts, all those parts come with warranties.
And you can actually buy a Shurion, for a couple dollars, and they'll just replace it all anyways.
Well, he's like, I'll get back to you. Ended up not getting back to me, and ended up buying it. Now he's bitching because it's slow. And I'm like, well, I could have built you a better one.
Well, another thing too is a lot of your pre-builds will come with a bunch of hardware that you do not need whatsoever, like Norton antivirus and just bullshit stuff that all it does, it takes up hard drive space and it slows you down. So as soon as you turn on your brand new computer, you got like 7 things popping. Register. Norton antivirus. This is popping up, and it's just like
if you're buying a PC like that, you're probably not educated enough to know that you need to go into your control panel and disable that stuff.
Right.
So that slows people's computers down. My thing is like you'll look at a computer listing and it'll be like, oh yeah, it's got 2 terabyte hard drive. Okay, 2 terabyte hard drive, good. 5,400 RPMs, not good. Oh, GTX 1080. Okay, that's a good graphics card. Oh, the GTX 1080 Mini with 1 fan. Oh, that's gonna overheat. Okay. Oh, GDR4 memory, 16 gigs. Oh, 16 gigs is good.
2,400 megahertz.
2,400 or 22 something. It's like, oh, it's got a 750 watt power supply. It's a gray power supply with ketchup and mustard cables, though.
Right.
That first power outage you have, it's gonna blow up and take your whole computer with it.
And I enjoy doing it, and I'm gonna do it a lot more. But I'm gonna start sleeving cables it seems like a lot of fun. A buddy of mine showed me how to do it, and he showed me a bunch of sites,
You're a brave man.
and it's really not that bad. It's
I
tedious.
watch people do, that's the thing.
It's
I
tedious.
ADD.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's tedious to do, but the satisfaction at the end, because I bought a cable mod set of cables,
Mhm.
you know, lime green and black. For this build over here, that was lime green and black. It looked great. It looked amazing. Wouldn't work. But they frayed out and everything.
See,
And they're
I've
really,
never-
and I bought cable combs from a different company, and they were too big
See, that's
because
that brand down there. What is it? Same company that makes that up here.
yeah,
They make cable extensions too. Highly recommend.
yeah, yep. And that's through the cable combs I bought, and I bought actual cable mod cables for an RM750X, and I took them out, put them back in the pack. It was like $80, you know. And then I looked into it. I was like, you know, I can do this myself. You
Yep.
can actually do the full length cables and measure out your own runs, so you don't have all your extra cables in the back.
That's something I do want to see, like perfectly measured out cables.
Oh.
It would look.
Remind me after we get done with the podcast here, and I will show you pictures of my buddy's PC. He does it. Oh my god, dude, it's
I
like
imagine that's amazing.
it's badass.
That's something I like to toy with. Like, I like messing because cables are inevitable. You can't hide.
Right.
So like my card's on a vertical GPU now. Now I could have easily run my cables down behind my graphics card, but I purposely ran them up and looped them, and then you put a bunch of like cable combs on it. It looks really nice. It helps add to the look of the PC. I think
Right.
that's I just.
Yeah, because I mean, main thing when someone's gonna see it, they're gonna say, "Man, that looks clean as hell," or "Man, that looks like someone just said, let's throw some parts in there."
Verge PC.
You know what I mean? But going back to the whole RAM and speed thing, so remember how I told you I got in trouble at Best Buy,
Yeah.
and they probably won't let me back in. So, I told them that about the keyboard.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'll stand by. I do not like Razer keyboards. I'd rather have a Logitech. The action's a lot better. Pay no attention to this being a Razer keyboard because I'm using a Logitech on the one that matters.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I do love their mice.
Yeah.
They got a good action to them. It's not real, spongy like you get a lot of the gaming mice off of Amazon and all that. So, and we went over to all the parts, and I asked the guy if they had any Ryzen 5 39 or 3600Xs. And I said, no, we just had the regular X. He's like, well, whatever's in the case, man, that's what we got. Like, no idea what I'm talking about. Like, just looked at me like I had two heads, right? So this kid and his brother and his grandma and his mom were sitting there looking at all these parts. And the kid, he kind of knew what he was talking about. Like, he wasn't 100% sure. He knew he needed RAM to go faster. He didn't know if he had RDD, 4 or 3. He wasn't sure there. And he wasn't sure of speeds. And the Best Buy associate sitting there, he's like, well, you'll have to figure out your speed of your RAM that you have. Because if you mix 3200 with 2400, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
He goes, you're going to have to manually underclock it. I'm like, no, your BIOS will automatically clock, automatically puts you at 2400 no matter what your RAM speed is.
It
Anyways.
runs at the minimum most speed.
But I was like, it's not going to cause an issue. You're just not going to be able to take advantage of the 3200.
Yep.
And he's like, oh no, it won't work. He goes, I'm like, let me guess. You have an iBuyPower that you bought here with an Intel i9 in it, and you think you know everything. And he got a little offended because he did have it on it. He built it himself. He showed me pictures of it. Had an iBuyPower sticker on the front. Or no, CyberPower. But he built it himself.
Well, I do know that employees at deals, maybe he got like a case or something.
Probably.
I always like to give people benefit of the doubt when it comes to
But
stuff
it was
like
just, we just argued back and forth, and he told this kid, and the kid says, I need more speed.
that. Yeah.
Is his basic thing. He was running a Ryzen 3, 22, or no, it wasn't even, it was a Ryzen 3, but it was in an HP.
Okay.
So it wasn't even like a gaming computer.
Yeah.
So it had like a 230 watt power supply,
Yeah.
onboard graphics. So yeah, it's probably like a 2200G or something.
Yep.
And he's like, I want speed, blah, blah, blah. And I tried talking to the kid, what are you going to do with it? Because, yeah, you could buy a Ryzen 9 3950X, get 5.2 gigahertz out of it, but you're going to load up Fortnite with it, and you're going to be like, wow, this is amazing. And then Joe Schmo down the street's going to have a Ryzen 3, and it's going to run at the same speed because it's going to bottleneck it. I was like, you don't need the best of the best. And, of course, the Best Buy associate isn't going to let that fly because, they're on the sales floor. They get commission over it.
Yep.
So, yeah, we had this big argument over it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed back at Best Buy in Erie. But
Oh well.
the other thing is too, and it pissed me off, and I saw it. Now Amazon owns Best Buy. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know
but
that, no.
if you go into Best Buy, all their prices are the same as Amazon prices. Some things are like $1 or $2 difference, but it's not enough to really say, let's make it worth it. Plus, they have the open box sales, which is Amazon Return, like the Amazon warehouse.
Yep.
So, their pricing's good, but the way they do it, now that it's all in one shelf where you can see anything, they're not going to put a Ryzen 5 3600X with a Ryzen 5 3600 and a Ryzen 7 2700 because someone's going to look at it and be like, well, why would I give them that much for that?
Yep.
When the 3600 is the same clock speed as a Ryzen 7 2700X, and it's like, the 7's $50 cheaper, and the X is $20 more, and it's going to confuse the hell out. So they're like, okay, we're only going to put this in there, and they're always out of stock on everything. Like, except for they had RX 580s, 4 gigs.
Oh yeah, everybody has RX 580s.
And they tried selling me one, and I'm just like, get away from me.
No.
Dude,
yeah, 4 gig, yeah.
And I hate it. I hate it when people get jobs in tech and they have no idea what they're talking about. And I like messing with them. Mm-hmm. So I'll ask them questions that aren't necessarily hard.
Yeah.
But in the same sense.
Something you have to be slightly educated enough to at least
know. So instead of saying M.2, I said RAM-based memory for a RAM-based SSD.
Yeah.
Which is an M.2.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, I don't know if we have that. And I Googled RAM-based SSD on the phone. I'm like, and of course an M.2 pulled up. And I hold my finger over that. I said, look, it looks just like this. Do you have any of them? Geez, I don't know. And he kept going past the Evos and just like, no, these are SSDs and M.2s. Ooh, and I'm like, he's like, bring me in the back, and we're like looking at hard drives, and I'm like, okay, bud, never mind. Just gonna buy this Phantom.
Yep.
And then of course, another thing too, I will not buy hard drives though from Best Buy because they are stupid expensive because they only carry like the name brand Western Digital Black Gaming Edition. It's $100 more for something that does the same as the other one. It's the same exact speed, same exact write, same exact cache, everything. It's got a black sticker on it.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I was gonna buy a name brand hard drive, I would buy like a Firefox.
Mm-hmm.
Something that actually has that higher speed and cache rate. Because a lot of them Firefoxes are just like a SSD, but with a magnetic drive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even that much of a difference on it.
See, I'm a stickler when it comes to memory hard drives.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Stuff. Every computer you get from me is that memory stuff in it. That's something I'm always real stickler about. Mainframe hard drives, mainframe SSDs. Usually their warranties are better.
Right.
Like I've had situations where I've actually had a couple hard drives ship in and they're just dead.
Yeah, you get a lot of dead on DOAs.
Well, you gotta think a hard drive. Very first rule: don't bang it around.
So let's put it in the mail.
USPS. Let's bang it around.
Put it in the mail and kick it around.
It's like no wonder it doesn't work when you finally get it. And now I'm straight SSDs.
Right.
All I got 2 PNY, or no, what's the one that has like the face that's half?
Oh.
You know what I'm talking, Kingston?
Yeah. Yep.
I have 2 of those. I had 2 terabytes in my computer, and then I got a 250 gig NVMe boot drive. The only reason I don't have an M.2 in there is because I don't feel like losing my OS and everything.
Right.
Try to. I got programs on there you can't get anymore, or at least
Right.
without paying for it.
Right.
So I'm holding off on that.
Bottlenecking that motherboard you got.
I'm bottlenecking that motherboard everywhere. I can't even overclock my stupid CPU because I didn't Liquid Cool. Sell it to you.
Yeah, but I mean, at least it pulls up a really decent benchmark.
Well, it does. And that's the thing. Like the power, like the VRMs and stuff on it, like its power efficiency. Like, I mean, it takes an 8-pin and a 4-pin for the CPU alone.
Right.
So it's, and then it's got another 6-pin for the graphics cards. So if you had multiple graphics cards, it would actually put more power to the lanes.
Right.
But that was a $530 motherboard. That motherboard costs more than most people's entry-level gaming PCs. I spent over $1,000 on a CPU and a motherboard.
Right.
And that was it.
Right. Now, Here's the huge thing that I love. So we got a Ryzen Pi 3600X, 32 gigs of 3400 RAM, right? Plus an MSI Tomahawk Max V450 motherboard, which right now is rated some of the best VRMs out there for a 450 series. Also with an M.2 boot drive.
Is your M.2 white?
No, it doesn't have a cut. It's just a green board.
That's white from here.
Yeah, it's probably glowing hot. No, it's the silver solder and stuff.
Oh, okay. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm blind to that.
So you would think, benchmark-wise, it would benchmark great, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. My Ryzen 7 2700 benchmarks higher with 32 gigs of 2400.
Just curious, are you using the same cooler? I really don't trust up here coolers. I've had bad luck with them. The cable extensions are nice. The coolers.
I had an air cooler on this.
Yeah, see, I almost bet if you would pop an air cooler on that, I almost bet.
Or no, I had an air cooler on this when I first tried to benchmark. It kept crashing. Because I had just the stock Ryzen. Well, there it is. The air cooler that came with it. And it wouldn't let me. Like as soon as it went up to the 3-year render part, it shut off. But when I put the liquid cooler and stuff on it, which I just put that on there because I didn't feel like tearing that apart yet.
Yeah.
Because it made me cry. Tear it apart. Like I love that PC. That's why everything's going back in it.
That's a very good looking.
Oh, it's a beautiful board. I love the.
I like that.
Yeah.
It looks really.
I love the B450 Steel Legend. Because it's all, and I'll actually show it so they can see. It comes stock with the M.2 cover, with the thermal tape, and then it's that white and black and gray, and then you got the Digi Camo.
I love the fact that the I/O is covered.
Yeah, and it's actually, of course, RGB here and here, and it's got a bigger heatsink than this MSI, but according to reviews, this has higher VRMs than that, which I don't understand. But yeah, then you got your 6 gig SATA.
That's weird that they have them all laid flat like that.
Right.
You don't know to stack them.
One thing that you don't see on this board is a pump.
Oh, pump header.
Yeah. It's got all fans. Of course, they work the same, but not in the same sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you got your Chinese resistors.
Pump header. CPU fan. I hear it, but not with WP. WP. That's weird.
Yeah. So you figure that it would, but the 570 does.
Ooh, it's only got, let's see here. So we got an X16 and then an X4.
Yeah.
That sucks if you want to run SLI.
Yeah, it's definitely, that and look at the spacing.
Yeah, the spacing's good though.
That's what I meant. The spacing is set up for it, but if you look how your lanes go in it, you know what I mean?
You only got pins up to your X4 there.
Yeah. So, and of course, the only one that's steel reinforced is your main, and then
they don't. Most people these days don't even run 2 GPUs. It's never really been worth it.
Unless you get that one you sent me. But I love it because the I/O on it.
Yeah.
Look at that. You got 2, 4, 6, 7 USBs.
Wow, 3.1.
Yeah, that's a 3.1, 3.0, and then your 2.0s.
And that's Type-C there too.
Yeah, and a Type-C. This has a 3.2 USB 1, but between that and the front panel, I'm out of spots. So I gotta buy a PCI USB card.
My motherboard's at 8 USBs,
Yeah.
and they're all 3.0.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like
actually no, I think I might be wrong. I think 4 of them are 2.0. Let me check.
Yeah, it only runs 2.0 for the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
And it still has a PS2 port on it. Which I'm surprised they haven't done away with PS2 ports.
Yeah, honestly.
I think it just takes up space.
As somebody who uses an IBM Model M, I really wish my motherboard had a PS2 port.
Yeah, when you're going, the old school and retro. But yeah, I guess we'll wrap this up. We're a little bit over an hour now, so we're going to wrap up this podcast for this week. Just a trial run on this. We're going to try to do it every week on Sundays. Hopefully maybe stay on subject a little bit better.
Yeah.
But you know, we got all week to think about. We just got to threw this together today. As far as the news, I mean, I had something set up a couple weeks ago, but like technology, it was already outdated. But
Ain't that true though?
it is true. But all you good people, have a good night. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and you know, set up the notifications to catch the next one. You guys have a good night.